Welcome back to Total Outdoors, and today we're going to be checking out my commuter bike. It's an old Apollo road bike, steel frame, down tube shifters, pretty standard stuff for bikes at the time. I don't know what the exact model is, but I think it was made sometime in the 70s or 80s. I'm pretty sure it used to be a 10-speed, but one of the last owners put this 6-speed Shimano cassette on the back, so it's a 12-speed now. In the front, it has a 52-tooth big ring and a 42-tooth small ring. The gearing on this bike is not the greatest for speed or for climbing, but luckily my commutes are pretty flat. I'm usually pretty close to the granny gear while climbing, and I spin out on most descents, but it's fine I guess. I've had the bike for almost 4 years now, and I've probably put about 4,000 kilometers on it. It was my first road bike, and I think it's single-handedly responsible for getting me into the Strava game. It's held up quite well, and it's honestly had less issues than my main road bike, which I bought new in 2021. It's really nice to have a dedicated commuter bike, so I don't need to worry about my nice bike getting stolen or messed up at the racks, and it also allows me to have a squishier seat and flat pedals so I can ride it in normal shoes and clothes. It's not the most practical bike for commuting. The only mounts it has are for water bottle cages and fenders, but it's better than nothing. Even if it had rack mounts, I'm not sure if I'd prefer panniers over just using my normal backpack, but it would be nice to have the option. The frame is a 58cm, so it's on the low end of size large, but I think it fits me pretty well. One thing that I think makes this bike look quite good is the horizontal top tube, which is pretty much parallel with the ground. I'm not sure what the material of the frame is, other than that it's some kind of steel, and I'm also not sure if it's butted at all, because I've heard of some of these older Apollos just having straight gauge tubes, and I don't even know if this was a high-end or a low-end model. If you've never ridden a bike with down tube shifters, it might look like a bit of a pain to shift, but it's actually not that bad. With the flat bars, the shifting motion feels exactly the same as it did with the drops, and I actually think that friction shifters are really good for a low maintenance bike. I also think that the down tube is probably my favorite spot for friction shifters because having them on the stem or anywhere else looks a little funny to me because they stand out a lot more. Since the shifters are just a smooth lever, there's no indexing, which means the shifting basically never gets out of tune unless you're having issues getting into the highest or lowest gears on the back. Like I mentioned, my commute is pretty flat, so I find the 6-speed cassette is fine and I don't mind the trade-off for simplicity. Overall, I would say it rides quite smooth. It doesn't accelerate very fast and it's not the most nimble feeling bike in the world, but when I ride it, I definitely feel the momentum. Luckily, there are a lot of bike paths and bike lanes in my city, and the pavement tends to be pretty smooth. It definitely feels quite heavy, and I guess it kind of feels more like you're riding on it compared to a newer bike, which you can sort of forget about when it's underneath you. And as for why it rides like this, first of all, it is pretty heavy. I tried my best to weigh it on my bathroom scale, which said 24 pounds, which is about 11 kilos. Also, I'm pretty sure that I actually have wire bead gator skins, but I can't remember because it's been so long since I had to take them off, and that really sucks because rolling weight has a much bigger negative effect, so you can definitely feel it when you're turning. Also, the stem is pretty long and aggressive, which is nice on flats, but it's really hard to get into a good flow when you're trying to climb out of the saddle or if you're sprinting through a red light. One big upgrade I just installed a couple weeks ago are these 58cm flat bars that I got for $10 at a bike co-op here called Cyclingtips. The old drop bars were crazy narrow, so now it's a lot easier to ride, and I think it still looks pretty decent. I also got these cheap lock-on grips and brake levers to complete the flat bar conversion, and so far I'm really liking it. By the way, if you want to buy these levers or grips, use the Amazon links in the description and I'll get a cut, which also helps you make more videos. Overall, the installation was super simple, but it was a bit of a pain to get the old drop bars out of the quill stem. Over the years, I've ended up replacing and upgrading a few other parts. The first things I replaced were the brakes. Old road bike brakes are crazy weak and the actual calipers of mine were worn out too, so I ended up replacing them with these Shimano BR R560s, which are ridiculously strong compared to the old ones. They're nice and smooth, they match the bike, and they're even stronger than the mechanical discs on my nice road bike. I had to drill out the holes in the frame to be able to fit the bolts in, but overall it was definitely worth it. When I got it, it had some really worn out Specialized Espoir 25C tires, which I replaced with these 23C Continental Gator skins. Since this was my first road bike and I didn't really know anything about slicks, I just chose these because I see a lot of Gator skins around and I guess I thought thinner meant faster. I think they match the bike pretty well since they're so thin and old road bikes were kind of designed for that, but I really wouldn't recommend getting Gator skins yourself. The first reason is that they use one of Continental's really old compounds, which has pretty bad wet grip and rolling resistance, even though it is really durable and strong. I would say there are a lot of better options like the Continental Ultra Sport or Vittoria Zafiro, and gator skins are also surprisingly expensive. I think these were around 80 Canadian a piece, which is pretty much double the cost of the Ultra Sports or the Zafiros. Their main advantage is definitely puncture resistance and durability, which I've definitely noticed because I've only ever had a few flats on these, and it looks like I have more than a year of tread left based on the wear indicators, so that's nice. I think this bike could handle 28s, but I think my next tires will be 25s just to be safe, and also I do like the look of skinny tires on old road bikes like I was talking about. I also had to replace the rear derailleur when the one it came with ended up getting caught in the back wheel and ripped off the frame. It used to have a 90s era Shimano Altus, but I got this one from eBay and I'm pretty certain that it's fake. It's also super ugly and I had to use these washers to get it to tighten into the frame properly, but so far it hasn't caused me any issues and there's nothing more permanent than a temporary solution. I also replaced the chain last year and I've had to replace the shifter cables a few times because they end up wearing out where they rub on the frame. If I could replace anything on this bike, it would definitely be the wheel set. I'm pretty sure these wheels are super shot, but they actually haven't caused me any issues in all my riding. The only thing I know about the back wheel is that it's made by Alex rims, and the front wheel seems to be generic. I think it might be stock. The front wheel is pretty noisy when I'm riding. It tends to creak and wobble a bit side to side, but I've tightened it before and I just need to do it again. I definitely don't plan on fully restoring this bike, so wheels are a bit out of my price range in terms of upgrades for it, but maybe if the right used wheel set comes up on Facebook or something, I might hop on it. In terms of accessories, usually the only thing I have set up is my silicone phone holder. It makes it really easy to make sure Strava is recording, switch songs, navigation, stuff like that. I like the silicone ones because they soak up vibration, they don't rattle, and my phone has never fallen out of one. I might get another one in the future, but for now I just have one and swap it between my bikes. I also have some lights, mainly for when I'm riding back from the pub or commuting home in the wintertime. For the rear, I have this Lezyne KTV Pro 75 that I lost the original strap for, but still works great. It feels really well made, and it's the kind that you just plug straight into a USB port, so you don't need to worry about cables. In the front, I just have this generic one from Amazon, which is insanely bright. It charges with USB-C, and in my experience lasts for about 4 hours of riding at full brightness. I'd say if you want to ride in the dark where there's no streetlights or anything, you definitely need to get a light like this. Anything smaller is really just meant for visibility and won't help you see past like 3 meters in front of you. Just make sure if you're on a bike path or something to have it pointing a bit lower so you don't blind people walking towards you. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you checking out my video, and if you like what you're seeing, you should definitely drop a like and subscribe. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to start making some money from my videos, which will allow me to spend more time on the channel and to make more videos like these. Also, if you've got a bike like mine or something else, you should definitely tell me about it in the comments. I respond to as many as I can and I love hearing from you guys. This bike has gotten me to school and work for the past 4 years and has been pretty damn reliable so far. I'm curious what you guys think of having flat bars on a road bike. Personally, I'm super sold on it, and for commuting, it's a lot more fun and easy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe and check out my other videos.